Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Thursday. It is the 25th, and this is getting started. So let's just do that. Let's get started and dig in. We've been talking about procrastination, and we've been talking about the impacts in our financial life when we procrastinate. We also covered a little bit about the types of procrastination that we're looking at. We have the passive kind, that's the candy wrapper under the seat. The box in the garage, that crap in the closet that we haven't unpacked since we moved in. That's sort of the passive stuff. The active procrastination, a little bit more engaged. We get something in the mail, a notice, and we put it at the bottom of the pile. We actively move it away from us. And so what we learned is that in terms of procrastination, we're talking about a process that we all go through, we all do it, we all have it happen. And part of the issue that we have is really about time inconsistency. And that's really what drives the feeding force behind procrastination. And we have this time inconsistency. It's the battle, if you will, between our future self and our present self. The present self wants a jelly donut. The future self wants to be fit and trim and in good shape and in good health. And so you've got the two parts sort of fighting over this jelly donut, the immediate gratification and the tasty jelly donut that you want now in your present self versus your future self and health. And so your money works the same way. We want to buy what we want to buy. We want to get what we want now at the cost of what we desire in building the financial life. And this procrastination is really more a situation of time inconsistency. Also, with time inconsistency, we have some terms that we get confused about and some things that we do that might be aggravating or compounding the effect of that, like multitasking. Every time I undertake to multitask, I start screwing stuff up. And it's not that I can't multitask. We're not designed to multitask, not in the way that we try to do it. And that's why it generally doesn't work long term. Might be short term, immediate, and you think you're getting a lot of stuff done, but the quality suffers. And eventually there is a price that gets paid when it all catches up. Because we're trying to do too many things at one time. You ever had that feeling where you're starting to do too many things at one time and you can't manage any of them? And so what happens is, and then we talk about things like, I need better time management. It's not so much an issue of time management. It's not so much an issue of money management as it is understanding that we have this time inconsistency between the present self and the future self. And we're in this battle constantly about where do we focus our effort. So we set up this little game that we could play, and we talked about that a little bit yesterday. You can watch the video, and if you're up for the challenge, try that out because it's a very effective process. Basically, anything dealing with your financial life, you want to use that 2:15 rule. 2 minutes to get started and 15 minutes to get doing something on your financial life, and limit it to 15 minutes. And then at 15 minutes, stop. What I'm going to talk about a little bit today is task and time management, or how we go about approaching things in our financial life and organizing to get the process started and get doing things in our financial life. And in terms of multitasking and time management and things like that, what I think I'm going to do is frame it in sort of a different way. If you take a simple sheet of paper, let's just get a sheet of paper here, one sheet of paper, right? And at the very top of the sheet of paper, write down the issue or the thing that you are getting ready to do, the task or the assignment. And I've used this technique. I still use it today. It's actually very effective. At the top of the issue or at the top of the page, write the issue, the task, or whatever it is that you're about ready to undertake to focus your attention on. So now you have the subject of your attention. Then on the page, draw a line right down the middle of the page, and in the middle of the page going vertical and horizontal. So you have four roughly even squares of lines on the paper. And in the upper two boxes, the first thing that you're going to write is the word have, H-A-V-E. And in the other box next to it at the top of the page, you're going to write the word need, N-E-E-D. And then at the bottom, in this order, you're going to write the words want, and then on the other side, desire. So you have an assignment, you have a task, you have something that you need to focus on that needs your attention, and you've got to get started after you got ready, and then you've got to get doing, and then you got to get done getting that thing done. And this is going to be related to your financial life. So before you undertake the task and start focusing your energy and your efforts on that task, under the box where you have drawn on the paper, write down all the things that you have to make sure you're ready to go. Do you have the stuff organized? Do you have everything that you have? Just write that down. There should be 4 or 5 things that you have right now. If you don't have everything ready, then on the other box, write down the things that you need to get ready. Because you don't want to start the task unless you're ready. And this is the process that I use to get ready to take on any assignment or task, especially when it deals with the financial aspects. And then at the bottom, what do you want? And then what do you desire? What's the outcome that you're defining that you want to be when it's done? What does it look like? And what do you want in terms of just the immediate stuff to be able to get? You want it to be, you want to be able to get it done in a couple of days. You want to be able to get it done so that you can take the next step. And what your ultimate desire is to understand, all your bank, like if you're attacking your bank statements, for example, and that's the issue, then you've got a clear process mapped out of how you're going to address it. And what it does is it eliminates this necessity or feeling or need or distraction where you start multitasking and you're breaking things down to a smaller component that are much more easy to manage. And it takes away all of that angst and that anxiety and the frustration that we get. So it's really the 4 corners of what we have and what we need, what we want and what we desire with regard to that assignment or that task related to our financial life. And then if you follow something like the 215 rule, you take 2 minutes every day to get started, to do something in your financial life, and 15 minutes to get doing. And at the end of 15 minutes, you're done for the day. Move on and enjoy the rest of the day of the other things that you've got to do. I also talked about the routines of setting your day up on a path that you define. Write down, and it doesn't have to be 5. It can be 3, it can be 5, it can be 10, it can be whatever you're comfortable with. But write down at the beginning of the day the 5 or 6 or whatever number of most important things that need to be done today, particularly if anything are in your financial life that need to be done. Write those down. Then when you're ready to get started, put them in the order of priority, what's most important, next most important, and organize that priority. When that list is ready, then start on number 1 and get that done. And don't go to number 2 until number 1's done. See, we drift. What happens is we get distracted. We take a break. We get on Facebook. We get on Twitter. We get on our phone. We text Mary or Sally or Tommy. We turn on the TV. We get distracted. It's not that we're distracted. We're drifting. We're losing connection and focus, and then stuff gets put off. And so this procrastination sort of creeps in, slow creep, and starts pushing stuff to the back burner, if you will. and then we get in this loop and we think we're busy, and we've got a lot of stuff happening, but nothing's getting done. And so what happens is we end up compounding the frustration and the angst and the anxiety, because we're not interrupting this pattern that we've established called drifting. It's sort of like a boat out on the bay without a rudder. It's just going to drift and go wherever the currents take it. When you're done with the first thing that's on the list, go through the list, and then work on the second thing. At the end of the day, when you're done and you have a cutoff, and that's the cutoff for the day, if there's anything left on the list, well, good. You're ahead for tomorrow, because now you have what you're going to be working on tomorrow for that list, and just move it to the next day and just keep repeating that process. If you do this in your job, this will completely shift and realign your productivity. You'll find that you're immediately more productive, both in your job, your business, or in your financial life, because you're moving things forward and you're actually getting them done, and you're using a process that avoids what turns out to be procrastination, is really the time inconsistency between our present self and our future self, fighting over the jelly donut versus good health, or doing something in our financial life, like maybe reviewing our credit card statements and bank statements, and then figuring out what are we going to do with all these 26 auto pays that we've got. We're going to turn those off and start doing something called auto keep, and start keeping more of our money. I use a process that I learned a long time ago from my mentor, that's just so effective. It's just I can't imagine not doing it. And I go through a process where I get prepared, I get organized, then I get ready, I get started, I get doing, and then I get done, and I move on to the next thing. And so by doing that, and usually with my routine in the morning, I've got my list, and I don't put more on the list than a certain number, and put them in the priority. And what happens at the end of the day, my cutoff is like 6 o'clock in the evening. So once I'm cut off at that day, I stop. I'm not going on. I got other things to do after 6, right? And so that's done. And whatever's not checked off or completed on the list gets moved to the next day. And my list is already started for the next day. I don't get wound up about that stuff anymore, because I'm managing through it, and I still follow that 2:15 rule. I take 2 minutes to get started and 15 minutes to get doing. Susan and I do that every day. And then we have our family finance meeting, if you will. We were doing it on Saturday. Now we moved it to Sunday, and it kind of works out. And that's a half an hour once a week where we go through everything and just make sure that nothing's falling through the crack. I hate that feeling when you have stuff that just falls through the crack. It's not that it falls through the crack. It's just we're not focused. We've drifted. We got onto Twitter, and we got onto our text, and we're listening to the iPod or the earphones and the music or something. I don't know. Some shit got in the way, and we drifted off. So if you understand that procrastination is not so much about procrastination as it is about time inconsistency, and that we've got this constant battle going on between our future self and our present self. And I love this analogy that the future self wants to be in good shape, good health, and you want to do all those things. But that reward is coming down the road in time, right? 5 years from now, your 6-pack abs turned into a 12-pack, and that probably had something to do with the diet. The immediate self, the present self, is like a little kid that wants a jelly donut, and you say no, and then the little kid has maybe a tantrum for wanting to have the jelly donut. So your present self generally will win out because it just squawks, right? Just wah, wah, wah. And what we've got to do is we've got to find a way that both sides can have something, and we're moving forward in our financial life. You see, I learned that it wasn't really that I was stuck. I learned that whatever I was doing wasn't working, and it ended up giving me something that I didn't want, didn't desire, and that was my financial life in chaos, right? That was way back in the day. I had to bring order to it. And so these techniques, hacks, whatever you want to call them, are things that I learned from my mentor or mentors, and over the years have adopted, adapted, and integrated them into just how I set shit up and just how it works. And it works when we're engaged, and when you take the time and break things down to smaller parts. It's so much easier to get rid of that feeling. It never triggers that feeling of angst or anxiety because you're actually moving stuff forward every day. You're not going to solve everything in one day, and that's not the design of this. The design is really to be engaged in the process of your financial life and have the control that you feel that is necessary, so that you feel like you're actually moving forward toward the thing that you desire, and that's having the financial freedom, or however you want to define that. Lastly, on procrastination, oftentimes I think what I found, for at least myself and some of the experiences that I've had, is that it's an opportunity to make excuses, right? For me, it was just making excuse. Well, I don't have enough time. I had to start asking different questions. Is it the fact that I didn't have enough time, or I wasn't allocating the time to do things a different way? And to be honest, it was the second, not the first, because time's unlimited, and it's just how I'm using the time. And my time management, there was no time management. We can convince ourselves that we have time management, but at the end of the day, when nothing's getting done and shit's still piling up, how's that time management working out for you, right? It's not. And the reason is because we approach it from a different standpoint, and we're not breaking things down to make them manageable in the first place. And then we say, well, we're going to multitask. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Well, yeah, we might be able to do 3, 4, 5 things at one time, but the quality is going to suffer because we're not completely focused. And eventually there will be a toll that will catch up, and pretty soon that multitasking it falls apart. It breaks down, and the weight of just trying to continue to do more things. I don't think it's about doing more things. I think it's about the quality of things getting done and completed and off the list, so that you have time to do other things. For me, I get up every day and I want to get as much of that in order and in place and done, so I have more day to enjoy rather than less day to enjoy. Then if I'm done and everything's off my list and it's 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm good. I got the rest of the day. I'll go have some fun. Like when you were a little kid, all little kids want to do is have fun. And the same thing should be true in what we're doing in our life, in our financial life. This should be fun. It's not fun when we feel like it's out of control. And it's not that it's out of control. We don't have a routine that promotes that being in place. And so we get constantly barraged in this cycle, in these routines that are set up. We call it procrastination, but it's really time inconsistency between what we want in the future and what we want in the current, the future self, the present self. And so if that helps you at least put it into some context, these techniques are highly effective, but they require focus and the drifting. When I'm sitting down to do something in that 2:15, particularly in the financial life, turn the phone off, turn the computer off. That's not the time that I want to be interrupted, or set the phone in the other room and sit in my office in my in the house and work on that stuff, so I'm not distracted. Don't check email till noon. Try that for a week. Don't check your email till noon. There's nothing that's going to be that urgent that somebody can't call you, but it's another one of those drifting little things. And the next thing you know, we've got this routine built where we're checking our pocket device like every 16 minutes, right, for text messages. We're checking our email. We're checking our Facebook. I mean, it's just that's why shit doesn't get done. We're just going back to the network, checking in to make sure we're still in the network, I guess. And after a period of time during the day, during the week, and during the month, when you measure the amount of time that has been attributed to the drift effect, at the end of the month, that's why we feel like nothing got done, because nothing probably did get done because we've got too much drift happening, and we're not anchored to a focus that allows us to take the project or whatever the assignment is and break it down to a small component using a 215 approach, 2 minutes to get started. And then when you're done with 2 minutes, then some point right then or later in the day, go back and spend 15 minutes and get started, get it done, get doing. And at the end of 15 minutes, stop and then repeat the process every day. And then if you play the little game and you circle it on your calendar that that's done, and then the next day, and you link those two together like a little chain, the bigger part of this game called Your Financial Life and How Do I Win It is that you don't want to break the chain. You want to have those circles every day circled and then linked together that you got the 215 thing done, and then don't break the circle. At the end of the week, you've got a full chain for the week. And then at the end of the month, you've got a full chain for the month. And then at the end of the quarter, you got 3 months where you link those together. At the end of the year, you got 12 months linked together. And at the end of the year, you look back and you say, wow, you know what? I have the financial life that I desire because here's how I did it. And it's strong because here's the chain. It's all linked. I did this every day. And I actually have the things that I desire. I actually am in control of my financial life. And it happens slowly a little bit over every day. But it's sort of like the, eat your veggies or eat your jelly donut, future self versus present self. And we make choices, right? These tools give you the chance to make more choice, not fewer choices. And then you can decide the choice that you want to make that gets stuff done. It's not that we procrastinate. We have a battle going on every day between the jelly donut and the veggies. And once you understand that that's kind of how the brain works, you get really cool feedback by using techniques like this that allow you to take the control back. There's no control when you have 27 auto pays and money's leaking out, and then at the end of the month you run out of money before you run out of month. Well, that might be why. A little bit of focus, a little bit each day, and we transform the life to the financial life that we desire, and we still are able to do a lot of stuff. So try these experiments, try these techniques, see how they work, adapt, adopt, and make them work for you. I guarantee you one thing, and I'll put it in writing as a written guarantee. If you do this and you do the 215 rule and you follow that with the chain and link those all together, I guarantee you will have the financial life you desire. I know we do. I know a lot of people that do, and I know why and how they got it because they did stuff like this, because it works. It gets you what you want and what you desire in figuring out how to take the control back and eliminating or reducing significantly the drift effect. When I catch myself drifting, I start turning shit off. If I'm drifting a little bit more, I turn more shit off. I keep turning shit off until I don't have that drift, because what it means is I've got too many things going off and too many things in the network, like the pocket device, the computer, the laptop, the phone, blah, blah, blah. And I need to start turning shit off because I can't focus. My focus is getting distracted and I start drifting. And I'll just start, if I have to, I've gone days, a couple of days where I don't even check the email because it just is a distraction. Maybe once a day, I'll sneak back in and I'll start checking it once a day. Because otherwise I will be more susceptible to drifting away. And then if there's something that urgent, people can call me or text me. And I just set it up that way because I know that if I keep checking it every hour or every half hour, I'm going to drift and nothing's going to get done. And I'm going to have this whole pile of shit that's stacked up that didn't get done. and then I'm back in that boat sinking financially, right? I'm not going to do that. I've decided that that's not working. It didn't work then. And it's not going to work now. And that's not an option. So, and that's a non-negotiable thing. You got to have a few things financially that are just non-negotiable, right? Telling your money where to go instead of asking where it went. For me, that's a non-negotiable deal. I will always tell it where to go, so I never have to ask where it went. And I kind of like that because it's kind of cool, because then we're kind of back in control of the money. Have an awesome day. Tomorrow we'll wrap it all up. I'll put a couple of more things together and give you one more little hack tool that you can use. Really, really powerful. Again, if you're interested and you want to go through the process and the get started thing in April, you got to go to the website and sign up again, even if you've done it for March. I've got the final one coming up Saturday for our group in March. Really some cool stuff that we're going to be doing, but even more cool stuff that's coming in April. But every month you have to sign up again because we have new messages and new things and new tools that we're going to be introducing. All of this stuff is designed for you to pick and choose the things that are going to work and figure out, so that you can have the financial life you desire. Really, that's, at the end of the day, that's all we're really doing here. I'm going to try to fix the credit or do the mortgage. I know there's a million people out there that do that shit. If you don't have the foundation built for the financial life you desire, then none of that shit's going to matter. It's not going to work. And so you're going to waste time, energy, and money and be more frustrated and pissed off because it ain't working. This is why you haven't built the foundation for it to exist. And so let's do that first. And with a solid foundation, you can build a solid financial house and really have everything that you desire. Hit me if you need me. Sign up for April. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Everybody take care. Cheers.